welcome back to another video. We just finished planting peanuts last week Saturday. It's Tuesday now. I had been feeling a little bit under the weather with the cold. You probably can still hear it a little bit. So my throat kind of feels a little funny. So I didn't really film the end of planting peanuts, but we finished planting peanuts and we switched over the planters to cotton. So right behind me I got a trailer all full of cottonseed. It's all phytogen again, which is really nice. We love phytogen around here. And we're going to be planting some cotton today. So since the planters are already switched over from yesterday, today all we should have to do is just fill up seed and just start planting some cotton. Should be enough seed to last us throughout the day. 3 totes and some bags. We gotta put three totes into that seed tender because the 3 totes are a different seed than the bags. And also I said the planters were ready, but we actually need the brushes. We couldn't find them yesterday and we didn't know where in the world they went. We thought we lost them, but it turns out we found them. So now I gotta quickly put all these brushes in there because you use different brushes for whenever you plant cotton and peanuts. So you gotta put new brushes. I can never do this one-handed. It's gonna be a little difficult. Oh, got it right there. That brush goes in right there. Seed plate goes right on top. And then you just lock that down. If you can do that one-handed. There you go. And then that's all good to go. You just put your lid back on here. Close that back up. And then you're good to go. And just to do that to 15 more of them. So this planter should be mostly ready now, except for changing these gauge wheels. We do got to adjust this because when we were planting peanuts, we were planting on beds, so the tire comes lower. Now we're planting on flat ground, so now we have to raise this tire up a bit. We just don't know how much. We have to actually get into the field before we start adjusting it. Then we'll know for sure. But for now, we'll get all this seed loaded into the seed tender, bring that to the field, and then hopefully start planting soon. Well, we just got loaded up on seed. We're doing some Phytogen 350. We're not doing the stuff in the totes for now. We will do this stuff in bags first. Those 2 fields are ready. Once we got those 2 planted, man, I don't even know if there'll be much ready to plant after that. Because a lot of the stuff we're trying to pre-water it first, but it's kind of watering a few acres here and there. So we're kind of trying to switch the pivots back and forth. So we're not necessarily behind, but it's just feels like it's getting behind, but we'll get there. We're not in too big of a rush, but we'll slowly be planting cotton. And yeah, we're continuing to have issues. Not with the planter this time, at least, just with our GPSs. I don't know why or where it started. It started a couple of months, not a couple of months back, I think like a month back maybe. For some reason, everything in our GPS got erased. Well, almost everything, like 90% of the stuff got erased somehow. We had no headings, no field numbers, no circle track headings, nothing was in there. So now we're having to literally recreate everything. So anytime we go to a new field, we can't just click, oh, yep, here's the heading, click on it, start driving. We have to now create a new heading. And for circle track, what you have to do is you have to find a point that you can reference to and then just start driving around the circle and hopefully that you'll create one. But I believe we're finally set up enough where we can finally start planting. And I believe, yeah, that row is going to be planting. I already fixed that one. I noticed it earlier that it was not planting. Looks like my pressure is actually going up. We weren't using any pressure for peanuts, so that pressure is going up. If I speed up to 6 miles an hour, hopefully these bars will straighten out. Then if they do not straighten out, we'll see how many issues we'll have, especially with that little row there being weird. But let's just go here, population adjust. Let's put that to 0.98. I'm pretty sure that's going to do better. Yeah, no, some of these rows are still being weird, and I do not know why. The vacuum is at 9, that's where it's supposed to be. Guess I'll have to tinker it around, make sure it kind of settles out. Oh, looks like it's doing a little better now. Maybe it took a hot minute to... Never mind. Nope. Some of these rows are still being weird, but I might have to fidget a little bit more and get it to be a little bit more precise. Yeah, we're planting into some really dry ground. Yeah, the 2 fields that we're planting today, we have not pre-watered them. We wanted to, but we didn't get around to it. But there is a chance for rain today, which I see a few clouds coming, and it looks like a big old storm is coming. And we did get a rain here on this field about a week and a half ago. So it rained about 1 inch to 1.5 inches or something like that. So there is moisture underneath the ground, just not near enough as what we would want. But we're planting a little bit deeper into drier ground. I'm trying to hopefully knock this out really quickly. We're going to turn on the pivots right away and start putting down 1 inch of water as soon as we're done planting, just even a little bit on here. And then hopefully with that rain also coming in, we'll be able to get a beautiful stand. That's anyways the plan. You never know if it'll work out like that, but we're hoping it will work out like that. But we'll guess we'll see. It's a very high chance for rain, and even if it doesn't rain, the pivot should still be able to water enough to make a nice stand because it is in dry ground. And we're planting a little bit deeper than usual, about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch deep. So then there'll be plenty of moisture underneath the ground after watering, where the cotton will be able to still come up beautifully. And we'll just send the pivot around a couple of times. The first time maybe 1 inch, and then the second time water 3/10, maybe another 2 times after that, and then we'll get a beautiful stand. I don't think you can see it well on camera, but he has on row number 15, he has a closing wheel bearing that's out. He's gonna need to fix that, because that's just pulling cotton stalks, and that's not planting. He's gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to call him because I'm trying to point and he's not getting the hint of what's going on. Well, we made the right call with planting in dry ground because it's definitely gonna rain. We have a shop a couple of miles that way, and my cousin just called and said it's sprinkling over there and it's gonna start raining more in a little bit, because when you look at the radar, it's coming straight for us. Actually, let me play, that way you can see whenever it actually maybe wants to load. Maybe. Yeah, you can tell it's coming straight for us. Oh, it might kind of like veer off to the side, but it's coming for us. Most of it is. But yeah, I think we're gonna get at least a little bit of rain today for sure. So hopefully we can at least get this half done, then we'll have it done at least 60 acres. That's at least better than nothing. Well, it's already starting to sprinkle a little bit. And normally, you know, we could plant in the rain because we're not gonna get stuck. Our ground doesn't make us get stuck, but it will make the planter very dirty with all the dust flying onto the planter, and then it just creates a mess. Gauge wheels can start forming a layer of dirt on them, but that's also not very common. But I think if it starts raining a little bit too hard, then we might have to quit. This right here is just my manual section control, because my actual section control does not work right now because I did not plant the end rows, so my screen does not know that I planted, or that I did not plant the end rows. So So I'm just manually shutting them off. He can use section control, but I don't know if his work. But yeah, that's what that is, if you were wondering. But looks like I cannot make a last pass here, so I'm done. He needs to make one more round, I believe, and then we are done. Yeah, it's sprinkling a little bit more. My tractor is getting quite a few raindrops on it, and I don't know how much longer we'll be able to go. We finished 60 acres. We're trying to finish the next 60 acres. That way at least one circle is done. But I don't know. I'm actually really glad that we decided to actually plant the cotton today, because we wanted to pre-water, but we're like, oh, if it's gonna rain, then might as well plant and then just, you know, send the pivot afterwards, and then this way the rain can help us out a little bit. So, you know, we're thinking win-win. Now I'm thinking we should have started like before the sun came up, that we could get more done. But if we can get at least this circle done, this 120 acres, then we have done good already before the rain. But yeah, let's hope it rains more than just a couple of sprinkles. Oh, there was just a lightning right there. I don't think a camera caught it right as I turned it around. But I'm liking this rain. We don't get rain often, and I'm liking it. I hope we get like at least an inch, 2, maybe 3. Send 4 while you're at it. Yeah, it's raining good enough to, I think we're gonna have to call it quits. I'm just gonna park here real quick and see what the gauge wheels are looking like. And also my cousin just called, said it was hailing at the shop, so that's not good. Looks like, yeah, they're clumping up a little bit, so we're gonna have to call that it. So we're not gonna be able to go more now with it looking like that. So yep, that's it for today. God, I should have not left the door open. That was my mistake. But I guess we'll park the planters and then I guess enjoy the rain, because man, it smells good. Man, it's been a while since I've witnessed rain, so I'm happy. It's turning into a good day. We didn't finish 120 acres, but we finished enough to where we should finish the rest tomorrow. Yeah, I like it. Now it's pouring down a little bit more. We're definitely gonna park real quickly here, and since there is hail coming, we have a seed tender here. I'm gonna quickly hook onto that, and there's a cotton gin a little bit further that way. We're gonna park underneath one of their roofs for maybe an hour or so until the hail blows over. So just gonna park that there for now. Tractor has no time to cool off, maybe for a couple of seconds. I turned everything else off. Okay, yeah, we're good. I got all my stuff, my gloves. All right, time to book it before the hail comes. I also gotta take this nursing tank off. Hooking it up real quick. It has a hydraulic jack, so that didn't take very long. And we should hurry up and get out of here. We made it underneath Cotton Gin's roof. I don't think they'll mind for 30 minutes or so. Not too much water should have gotten in there, but I love this rain. I love it. Woo! Woo, that's awesome. Woo! All right, moment of truth. How much did it rain? Yeah, don't get stuck in the water.
Half an inch.
Half an inch. Woo! You love it. But it was a well worth it rain. Yeah, it only lasted like 25 minutes maybe, but still very, very appreciative. I love that at least it was half an inch. It helps out a lot. So now we're just gonna park the seed tender back here in the shop because there's chance for rain tomorrow. It's most likely gonna rain again, so might as well park it inside where it can't get hailed on and not damage the tarp on the seed tender. So rather park it inside than have it sitting outside. It's parked in the shop and gonna head home. There's nothing else to do since it now rained. All the ground was way too wet to work with or do anything with, but tomorrow morning we'll head back out to the field and hopefully we'll finish that 120 acres. Hopefully it's dry enough to where all the gauge wheels won't be packing full of dirt and whatnot. So the plan is to finish that 120 acres tomorrow, and then there's another circle right beside it. It's not quite 120 acres. Those two circles kind of overlap, so they're kind of together. There's about 100 acres. If it's dry enough tomorrow, we should be able to finish those two fields, and there is more chance of rain tomorrow, which hopefully that brings more rain. And that should be it for planting cotton for a little bit. The rest of our cotton acres are all trying to be pre-watered right now. We're trying to quickly water it a little bit, just that way they get some moisture underneath the ground since it hasn't rained a lot. Which right here we probably wouldn't have to. Say this field right here, since it has now had rain. So with this we probably wouldn't have to, but there's a slight chance we might still do it. But you never know until future hits, and then when you want to start planting, it's like, oh no, now it's go time. Now it's too late. Now we can't pre-water. So then it is what it is. But you never know until the future. But we will see you all tomorrow. And welcome back. It's the next morning, and we're not going to be planting today. It rained a little bit more. I don't know how much, and over here in this area it didn't rain much, but where we were planting yesterday, I think it rained at least another half an inch, so it's way too wet to continue planting. So instead, we're going to be sand fighting instead. I think my camera's dirty. There you go. Yeah, so because it rained, we're going to be sand fighting right by our peanuts. That way our peanuts won't get blown over with dust. So that's the plan for today, and we'll have to finish planting tomorrow, maybe day after. Another day anyway. But for now, let's go sand fight some acres. And we're sand fighting. This is a little bit different than listing up beds because I've already planted peanuts here. So now all we're doing is going with smaller busters on each unit, and then we're just trying to re-stir up all the clumps, bring up wet dirt on top and clumps, and hopefully that usually always helps with blowing dust everywhere. So that's the reasons for doing it. It really helps if it's all of a sudden gonna get windy again, and like this, it's not gonna blow and not gonna destroy our crops. Way back in the day we used to do it with 8 and 12 rowers. Now luckily we have 16 rowers, so this goes by a lot faster. And since we made very big beds to begin with, we can actually go pretty fast. I'm going 4.5 right now, so we're actually covering acres pretty quickly. I know back in the day when we used to do it, max speed we could go would be like 2, maybe 3 if you're lucky, but 2 miles an hour would usually be kind of the sweet spot. But now with having listed up big tall beds to begin with, it really makes a difference now, because now we can, for some reason it works better. Now we can drive a whole lot faster with sand fighting, so another benefit, I guess. Currently we have 2 tractors going, and we might have a little bit of an overkill because these are our 370s. So we're using 370s to just lightly sand fight, and we're just, you know, we're just idling down the field. Just, it's so quiet in here, it's like you can hear yourself think for miles. But yeah, a little bit overkill on tractors, but these are the only tractors we have available right now, so might as well put them to good use. We did have to take off the front dual zoe because, well, we want less wheels going in between the rows, and we would like to take off a lot of the weight because these tractors are very heavy, but that's way too much work, and we didn't bother taking off the weights, so they're still on there. But we did take off the front duals. That makes it a little bit easier. But we got quite a few acres to cover today. We need to finish this field, which I got one more round on this side of me, and then I'm done here, and then we got to move to that field right there. Once we got that one done, then there's 2 half circles further out there that we got to do, and then another half miler. That's like, we don't have to do the whole field because not every spot is sandy. It's only maybe like 100-acre spot that we have to do, so we'll get all of it done today. Another 120 acres done and moving to the next one. At the next field, and right here probably wouldn't have to sand fight. Here it looks okay, but there's a big sandy spot right there in the middle of the field. So we're just starting here where kind of the sandy spot starts, then we'll work our way over to the shore rows, and then we'll leave the rest of this because this is half miler, so this is mile-long rows, so we don't need to do the whole thing because the rest of it looks fine, as you can see. But once you get closer over here, I'll show you. It's a little bit bare, getting a little flat over there, so we'll sand fight that area, and then we got to move over, do another 60 acres further down the road that way, and then do another 60 acres right back there. This is just more priority, so we're trying to get to this one first. So yeah, we got a lot of acres to cover. Wow, the camera really doesn't do it justice, but it's quite sandy. It's pretty flat. It definitely needs to be sand fought. Cause it's looking a lot better already behind me. Might go a little bit faster. I just don't want no big clumps of dirt to fall on top of the rows. This field, the peanuts are barely coming up out of the ground. You probably can't even tell it on camera, but they're barely coming up out of the ground on this field, so I don't want to put any dirt on top of the peanuts, because that'll hurt them a little bit. It'll restrict their growth a little bit, so preferably not if you can avoid it, but a little bit of dirt is fine as long as it's not like huge clumps, then it works. Working on what I believe is the last field. There is another 60-acre piece that I thought we were going to do today, but it sounds like we might going to wait till tomorrow until the pivot's around. For now, we'll just continue on with this circle. Once we're finished with this one, then I believe we're going to be done for the day. Unless if clouds out there decide to start raining again, then we have to repeat the entire process all over again. Because the rain will just kind of like wash it flat again, and then it'll start blowing. So then we have to re-come and sand fight everything. But I mean, we'd love the rain. I wouldn't mind sand fighting every day if it rained every day. Done with another 60 acres. Man, with 2 of them, it really covers acres pretty quick. Especially when you can go 4 or 5 miles an hour, occasionally 6. So yeah, we've been progressing pretty good. We're just gonna go to the next field, the next 60 acres. We can't finish that entire circle, but we'll just back in and cover where the pivot is barely watered, where it's nice and wet there. We'll just be able to do maybe 20-ish acres maybe, and then we'll call it a day. And we're done. Just gonna head back to my truck and then go home. Call it for today. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. Let's hope our peanuts don't blow over with sand, and well, I'll see y'all guys in the next video.